Hi, it's me, Daphne, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about the books I hope to read in November, aka my November TBR. So I am feeling the pressure of the year coming to a close. There were a lot of lists that I made in the beginning of the year for like 23 books to read in 2023 and self-destruct lists and all these things. And I am not as close to completing those as I would hope. Though, am I that surprised that I'm not that far along? Not really. But it gives me 2 months to try to catch up on some reading. And then on top of that, I still have book clubs and like obligations that I need to read and things that I want to read for book clubs and stuff. So let me just dive into it. I might abandon some of these books to prioritize my 2020 or my 23 books in 2023 list. And then also the fact that a lot of these books I have here are physical today, and I've just been struggling so hard with physical books. Anyway, that is a long intro. Let's dive into the books. The first book I'm gonna talk to you about is Bunny by Mona Awad. This will be a second read through. I gave it maybe like a 2.5 the first time, but I'm hopeful that I will like it even more on the second go through now that I can anticipate what's gonna happen, now that I understand this book is about friendship and loneliness and things like that, and I wanna read like all the Reddit threads about it and stuff. I have to read this for my book club here in my building with my friends, so excited to do that, and I wanna annotate it as well. I already set that up in here, so I think it'll be really fun. I have like 9 days to read it for our meeting. Hopefully I love it more. And then another book club book I have is The House on the Cerulean Sea. This is for my family book club that we just started. So my mother's cousin asked me to help her set up a book club and if I had any recommendations. So I recommended this one because it has great reviews and everybody loves it, and it was something that was already on my radar, and I just thought it was like a good safe place to start for a book club with your family. I mean, it has found family vibes in it, so seems perfect, and I'm not gonna recommend them a steamy romance. I feel like for book clubs you gotta kind of take it on a different path. So very excited about this. I didn't really tell you what the other books were about because I was kind of flying through it, but I'll tell you what this one is about. So this takes place at an orphanage, and I believe this man is basically a social worker, and he's checking up on these magical kids that live at this orphanage, and I think he falls in love with the caretaker. And yes, it should be a sweet, fun time. A little bit of romance, a lot of heartfeltness, I imagine. And if you don't know what Bunny is about, it's about it's like Heathers, if you've seen that movie. There are these girls that all refer to themselves as Bunny, and it gets windy and psychedelic and trippy and scary, and you're like, what is happening? The sirens. And this outsider girl that kind of gets, stop. And this outsider girl that kind of gets brought into their circle. It's dark academia vibes, they are post-grads, and they're all in this literature field, in this literature class together. Now I want to talk about books I have out from the library. So I currently have Happy Place out. It finally came through, by Emily Henry. That waitlist for that book is pretty long, so I kind of want to give it a chance and read it. I didn't buy this Emily Henry book even though I own all her other ones because it just didn't call out to me as much. So I'm not foaming at the mouth to read it. And also it seems like summer vibes based on the cover. So we'll see if I actually get to it this month, but it's not a super high priority. But I have it out from the library, so I feel a little bit more of an urgency because of that. But again, I could just put myself at the back of the line, no big deal. I've already done it once before. And Happy Place is about a second chance romance. I believe the couple, I don't know if they're married, but for whatever reason, they've broken up, but they've already planned a friend's holiday with a group of their friends, so they're just pretending to be together for their friends. And it's their second chance romance. I hope I remember that correctly. I think that's right. Hopefully. And then I also have a, fucking hell, what happened? My voice. And then I also just got out from the library the audiobook for Daisy Jones and the Six. Clearly I own a physical copy as well. This one, Book of the Month, Book of the Year in 2019. So very excited about this. I really enjoyed Taylor Jenkins Reid's other book, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I'm excited to dive into this one. And I believe my friend Sam told me that the audiobook for this is amazing. So I was waiting until I could get it out. And this is about like a singer pairing up with this band, and they become hit sensation music stars. And I think it's formatted in interviews. Yeah, it looks like it's all a little interview format. So I've read books like that before. It's not my favorite, if I'm being honest, but I'm curious to see how the audiobook is. I think it's a full cast. I haven't started it yet. I hope it is, because that would make it more fun. Now this next book I really want to read in November because it just seems very fall, and once we go into December, I don't know if I'm gonna like be in the mood to read a fall book. I think like December is still partially fall, but December just feels so winter because December is Christmas and Christmas is winter. So I kind of want to dive into this fall book. Let me just show you what it is. It is You Again. All I know about this book is that these two characters were in love with the same woman. It doesn't work out for either of them with this person, and years later they meet up again and become friends, even though they had hated each other in the past for understandable reasons. You know, being in love with the same woman is probably pretty messy. So they become friends a couple years down the line. They're not friends with benefits because for whatever reason, they're both very, very sad. They are just down on their luck in life, and it's their romance, and I just can't wait to read it. And it takes place in New York, which I absolutely love. I live in New York, so it makes it that much more fun for me because I just feel that much more immersed in the story, being familiar with the setting. This next book I've probably talked about 1,000 times on 1,000 TBRs, and I just don't prioritize physical books. And I'm so sad about it, guys, but I really just want to get to a Lucy score. I have this one, Things We Never Got Over. I have another one behind me. I just need to read it. Oh, I'm like anticipating it. I really want to love it, but I am just struggling to pick up physical books. It's just so much more convenient with my Kindle, obviously, and like reading in bed and all that stuff. I've said it 1,000 bajillion times, but I have a lot of physical books on this TBR. So pray for me. This book is a small town romance. I believe this woman comes to town to help her twin out, and she finds out her twin has a daughter, like a preteen daughter probably. I don't know how old this daughter is. 11 years old. And she falls in love with this bad boy guy in this small town. I think there's a lot of like bad history for this woman maybe in this town. I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be like dramatic things revealed. It's a very long book, but I'm intrigued, and I'm tired of saying it's on my TBR. I just wanna say I read it already. Another book club book that I wanna get to, well, it's kind of a book club book. I'm not required to read this, but I want to support my friend. So this book is Ready When You Are. This is an Australian book. So my friend Meredith is co-hosting an Australian readathon in the month of November. I'm gonna link her video down below if you're curious about it. So I really wanted to participate and read an Australian book this month, and this is the book for, this is like the selection for the readathon for everybody to read. And all I know about this is that it's a YA, it's queer, between two boys falling in love, and I maybe like touches on racism and stuff. I think these characters are probably Aboriginal people of the lands. And yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm hesitant only because it's YA, but I'll give it a chance. It was available at my library, so it was meant to be, and I'm excited to give it a shot. And to learn more about Australian culture and people and experiences, because I don't really know anything about it, besides the little bit of tidbits I get from my friend Meredith when she educates us all. But I need to be better at getting it from people who have lived the experiences, who are a little closer to home when it comes to being Aboriginal or like non-white in a previously colonized country, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I hope I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm sorry. Enough of that. I'm just looking forward to learning more and experiencing somebody else's story. And then the last book I'm officially putting on this TBR is Carnal Secrets. This is the third book in a wolf shifter, a romance series. I'm in the middle of it. I'm like halfway through already, so easy peasy for my TBR. This is also on my 23 books to read in 2023, so I'm happy to check that off the list. It's okay so far. I mean, I'm having fun with it, but it's like, it's not as good as like the first one or the second one. It's a little bit of too much telling me and not showing me, you know what I mean, when it comes to these characters. The author is just like spelling things out too much versus like just showing a scene where the characters are obviously feeling those ways. Doesn't matter. Excited about checking it off my 2023 books. And yeah, I have a ton more 2023 books that I would love to get to. So if for whatever reason I'm like desperate for my Kindle, I have a plethora of options, but I don't necessarily want to tell you what they are because I will definitely be making a separate video at the very end of the year to see how well I did reading my 2023 books. So I don't want to spoil it for you, okay? But I will probably be trying to squeeze some more books onto my TBR. And it's just hard because you make a list in the beginning of the year, and then by the end of the year, maybe you're not as interested in those books, or like other books obviously came up that you were more excited about. So I've only read like 63 books, I think, so far this year. So asking myself to commit to 23 books is a lot. That's like a third of my list right there. And I mean, I'm a mood reader, so the things I was in the mood to read at the beginning of the year aren't necessarily gonna be the same by the end of the year. So I can't be too mad at myself. It's not that serious anyway, it's just for fun. But that's all I have for this TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel, and I will catch you in another video. Bye.